Okay, South Kakalaki came away with probably the most impressive year. Not because of their record, which was only 9-4, but when you take a look at what they've got for everybody to look at, which is, hey, a young quarterback that is so impressive that everybody is talking about him, and a team that beat number 12 Clemson and number 10 Texas A&M at the time. This was an impressive team just because nobody was expecting them to get to where they were. So we're going to take a look at what they did this past year, and keep in mind that they're just building what Shane Beamer has done, and it's taken him a while to do it, but what he's done is build a team that is going to be scary for a lot longer, as long as they keep him around. So let's get into it. Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Newman. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there. Okay, let's take a quick look at their schedule. Now, they beat Old Dominion, went to Kentucky and just smacked them around 31-6. Now, the Old Dominion's like one of those strange teams. Most people don't pay attention to them. They're one of those teams that you don't know which one you're going to get. They're just the past few years, you get one game is like you're just like, holy cow, impressed with them. Next game you're just like, what in the world? Would really? It's one of those teams. They beat Akron like they were supposed to. And going to Kentucky and just smacking them around was interesting. They beat Oklahoma very impressively, 35-9. They went there to do it. And Shane Beamer's like Josh Heupel at Tennessee. Both of them had played at, or had connections to Oklahoma. They beat Texas A&M, who at the time was ranked 10th in the nation, really impressively at 44-20. They beat Vandy really impressively, 28-7. Missouri, 34-30. That game was interesting. Everybody was thinking that Missouri should have beat them, and yeah, it just was a interesting game. Wolford, of course they beat them. And Clemson, 17-14. Think about that. They beat a team that made it into the college football playoff. They lost to LSU in a really close game. Then Ole Miss just whooped their tail end. Alabama beat them by only 2 points. And then they lost to Illinois, 21-17. Shane Beamer has got a team going that it's interesting. And I think that they're going to be a lot better this next year because Lenore Sellers. So let's talk about Sellers. Okay, Lenore Sellers. This man passed for 2,534 yards. He had 196 completions on 299 attempts. So that's 65.6% completion ratio. He had 18 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. That's actually really impressive. He had 166 rushes, 7 touchdowns on 166 rushes on 674 yards. That's another part that's impressive about him. This is a guy that, like I said, 18-7. Keep that in mind. I've been covering a lot of quarterbacks, and this guy knows where he's throwing the ball. It's not even a joke as to him knowing where he's throwing the ball. And then on top of that, you also can count on him to rush it. He's able to do what he needs to do at the right time on a team that, quite honestly, nobody was expecting him to be able to do this. I'm not saying that they weren't expecting him to be able to do it. It's just the combination of everything. So Lenore Sellers, if he keeps this up next year, and he's only, hold on a second here, he's only a freshman. Think about that. He's doing this good as a freshman. Yeah, South Carolina just got scary. Okay, so let's look at the rest of their offense. Okay, their leading rusher is Raheem Sanders at 881 yards. Top receivers Joshua Simon, 519 yards. Now, Raheem Sanders has got 11 rushing touchdowns. Lenore Sellers, like I said, had 7. They were actually really spread out. Oscar Attaway, 3. Robbie Ashford, 2. Juwarm Howell, 2. And, well, not as spread out as I would have liked for a team to be, but they're spread out enough that it doesn't matter. Um, Joshua Simon had 7 touchdowns receiving. Nick Harbor, 3 receiving. Mazio Bennett Jr., 3. Raheem Sanders, 2 receiving wise. Um, and a few other players, Jared Brown, Gage, Larbaden, and a few more that they were spread out offense. That was what was hard for people to get their head around as to who was going to get the ball. Unlike, say, Tennessee, love my Tennessee Vols, but South Kakalaki was far more spread out. Now Lenore Sellers he's got some impressive things, but he's also got enough of an arsenal that he didn't have to worry about things. So let's now take a look at the defense. Now their defense, top tackler at 88 is Nick Eminwari, and leading interception is Jalen Kilgore. Um, Demetrius Knight Jr. is not that far behind, in all honesty. And Nick Eminwari also has got 2 touchdowns via interception. He had 4 interceptions, 2 of them that he took back for touchdowns. Um, Only person that did that too. On top of that, tackle wise, they had a good defense. They were tackling left, right, and center. Um, they were actually pretty impressive when it came to intercepting for a few of the guys, but not enough of them were able to do that. Um, Emin Wari had 4 interceptions. Knight had 1 interception. Kilgore, like I said, had 5. Fortune had 3, and O'Donnell Fortune. Okay, he had the 3. Oh, DQ Smith, pardon me, had 1. So they weren't as good on the interceptions as a lot of teams were, but they're tackling. I mean, you've got 88, 82, 67, 63. So they were still decent. That was where they were the most efficient in all honesty. They had a good defense, but they didn't have enough good defenders. That's the problem right there. They didn't have enough people there that could do the job. They had people that could do the basics, but they didn't have enough that could stand out and make it a total defense. And that was their only reason that they were only 9-4. Um, if they can shore up that defense, good lord, I could see them being in the playoffs next year. I really do. I can see them being in the playoffs next year as long as they keep everybody around Lenore Sellers that he needs and they fix that defense. Now, this coming year, they've got about the same. They got Virginia Tech starting out, and then their next one's a whiff at South Carolina State. Vandy, which you don't know which Vandy you're going to get next year. Um, they of course have still got Clemson. They've got Coastal Carolina, who is on occasion can be a very scary team. Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, LSU, Missouri, Kentucky. Yeah, see, so they've got the SEC schedule. They've got an SEC schedule that, yeah, but considering how they did this year, you can see them coming away with, depending on what LSU is, you know, honestly, they could come away with only 2 losses at most with this schedule. So, yeah, South Carolina this past year showed us that Shane Beamer is still going to be scary. And not only is he going to be scary, he's going to make sure everybody knows it. And with a quarterback like Lenore Sellers, as you saw this year, hey. So this has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.